If you were to tell me just a few days ago that the Nationals would have taken 2 of 3 of the defending champion Los Angeles Dodgers, I'd have told you you are lying. And the Nationals, they played probably their best series of this season, even after losing yesterday's game.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, I am your host, Ryan Clary. You can catch me over on Twitter at RyanClary11 and as well as on Twitter at LO_Nationals. For all your latest Nationals news and notes, make sure to check us out over on Twitter. And of course, while you're at it, look up Locked On Nationals wherever you get your podcast, especially on Apple and especially on Spotify, and also throwing a third especially over on YouTube, where you can find your daily coverage of the Washington Nationals. Later on in today's show, we're going to look ahead to the next few series here, because you're in Miami, then you're in Pittsburgh, and then you head up to Colorado. These are 3 winnable series for the Washington Nationals, and by the end of it, we could be talking about a 500 baseball club, and it's because of what they did against the Dodgers this past week. So we'll discuss that a little bit later on in today's show. In the second segment, let's talk about the outfield here. I was reading a story from Bobby Blanco, our guy Bobby, from MASNsports.com, and I thought it was really interesting and kind of put things into perspective about an issue that the Nationals have, but it is a good issue. We'll discuss that a little bit later on in the program today. But let's talk about this Dodgers series, because what a series win. What an absolute, great series for the Washington Nationals. If you were to tell me on Sunday, when you have Dustin May going up against Mackenzie Gore, and then you follow that by a Brad Lord start in which he was only going to go a few innings there, and then there's going to be a bullpen game, and then you tell me that you have Jake Irvin on Wednesday going up against kind of a bullpen game for the Dodgers there also, I would not have given us a chance. Maybe win one game, but let's be honest. This Dodgers team is probably the most talented team in all of baseball up to this point. So looking back on Monday's win, Mackenzie Gore went out there and shoved yet again. You have that going for you. And then you have James Wood hitting a big home run in that ball game also. You have Luis Garcia Jr. going 2 for 4 in that first game. You have, again, that first inning home, or not the first inning home run, but that first home run of the series for James Wood, where he's 1 for 3. He had that 2-run bomb. You have Alex Call getting a double. The Nationals offense kind of exploded for some extra base hits, and ultimately they got the win. And the bullpen came in, and they did their best part outside of Lucas Sims allowing that 2 runs later on in that game. But with what the Nationals are and where we sit today, how do you not feel encouraged about this series? Because again, if we're just being honest, you go into a series against the Dodgers, and this isn't just for the Nationals. This is for everybody. You go into this series expecting to lose. This is probably the most talented team that I have ever seen, dating back to the early 2000s Yankees. That's how good that this team is, that the Dodgers, they come into DC and you take 2 of 3 of these games. But by the way, while you did have Gore and Irvin go in 2 of those games, but Jake Irvin, we think he's really good, and he is. But also, compared to this Dodgers offense, you don't really expect him to have his A kind of stuff. And that's kind of what happened in yesterday's game, in which they fell short of the sweep. He allowed 4 runs in the first inning, and then he settled in and gave the Nationals a relatively quality start, going 6 innings, only giving up those 5 hits, struck out 7 batters. That was pretty good for the Nationals. And also, by the way, let me just add this, but Mackenzie Gore on Monday, that was the highlight of this series for me. outside of James Wood hitting 3 home runs. This Nationals team, similar to years past, they're scrappy. They're going to get the job done some way, somehow. And in yesterday's they are down 4-0 in the first inning. And I was at that game, and you think to yourself, well, this is over because they're going to have to go to the bullpen. They're going to have to call in some guys in order to finish this ball game. But still, they stuck in the game. They found a way to really kind of look at it overall and ultimately came up short in that final few innings there. But still, they were down 4-0. They put up 3 runs in that first inning. They're right back in it. The third inning, they put up another 2 runs. And you're thinking to yourself, well, this is going to be a close ball game after all. CJ Abrams, to lead things off in that first inning, pimped a massive home run, in which was, by the way, just an absolute bomb to right field. 380 feet, and it was also 103 miles per hour off the bat. On a windy, cold afternoon there, CJ Abrams, his power in the first half, similar to last season, it's coming back. And to think to yourself, because CJ Abrams, we all know that he's got the stolen base threat. He's already got 3 on the season, but he's got 4 home runs now. The power is real when it comes to CJ now. Like, this is not something that you just think to yourself, like, oh, that was a cute little one-off this past first half of the 2024 season. No, his power is real. And maybe it has to do with something to begin the year, because he is on fire right now. He's got an 879 OPS. He's, again, one of our most valuable offensive pieces right now, outside of James Wood and Keibert Ruiz, who also added another hit in yesterday's game. But with where the Nationals are, going up against Ohtani, going up against Mookie Betts, like, it makes you feel good. It just does. And I can't really explain it outside that perspective there. But again, getting back to it, the Nationals, they stuck their nose in this series and they came out winning 2 of the 3 games. I'm thrilled with it. I am very happy with where the Nationals are. But also with that said, let's talk about an issue that the Nationals do kind of have at this point. Because if we're just being honest here, the Nats, they've got a big bullpen issue. And I think that right now is a little bit overwhelming to think about because, again, when you're talking about a Nationals team, it feels as if every season, even 2019, you're like, well, we've got 2 guys that you can rely on, and that's it. But this Nationals team right now, it feels as if you really maybe have, I guess 2 and Jose Frere in those pieces also. But as of right now, this bullpen is a big issue. Looking at the game yesterday, like, again, I'm going to say it for the 3rd time. This Nats bullpen is going to be an issue down the road. Think back to 2019 again, where you had Sean Doolittle and Daniel Hudson. And then you had Patrick Corbin coming out of the bullpen in the postseason also. You only had a few guys to rely on. And at that time in 2019, that was the worst bullpen ERA ever to make a postseason run, and they ended up winning the World Series. Like, think back to all these teams that have won the World Series this past year. The Dodgers, they are so deep in the bullpen, they have plenty of guys to turn to. You think to the Yankees last year. They also had a ton of people to turn to, and ultimately were just a very good bullpen. The Astros in years past, they have had great bullpens, and they have even added on to it. The Nationals, they've got a bullpen issue today. And I think in yesterday's game, that kind of put it on a pedestal there. Because your one guy who has been really solid this year has been Eduardo Salazar, who's kind of just come out of nowhere for the Nationals and has looked good in the first 2 weeks of the season. He came in, he gave up a home run, and in 2/3 of an inning, he gave up 3 hits, 2 earned runs. He walked the batter, and it just was not good, and ultimately got the loss and a blown save for the Nationals in that game. You also have Lucas Sims, who has been pitching in some pretty critical situations. While he didn't look good yesterday, it has not been a good result overall. I think Jorge Lopez is going to be a solid bullpen piece here for the Nationals. You saw that in yesterday's game also. Why aren't we using him in more critical situations? Last year at this time, you had Hunter Harvey and Kyle Finnegan. You also had Dylan Floro. That was probably your best situation that the Nationals have had, speaking of bullpens, since 2019. But with where the Nats are today, I was wrong, I think. I thought this bullpen would be a lot better than what it has been. And it just hasn't been that good up to this point. Each and every game, the bullpen is giving up run after run after run, and it just mounts for this team that has good starting pitching and quality starts, and it is ultimately blown by this bullpen. That is going to be an issue as I continue to watch this team, and it's hard to ignore at this point. It just is. So keep that in the back of your mind, but overall, what a series for the Nationals. You got to feel good about where they are as of right now, especially going up against the best and most talented team in all of baseball with the LA Dodgers. So thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Before we jump into this Nats outfielder depth situation here, let me tell you about our friends at Just Ingredients. And when it comes to fueling your body, quality matters. That's why Just Ingredients is changing the game with clean, high-quality products designed to support better health and peak performance. Just Ingredients offers an NSF-certified line of protein powder, electrolytes, pre-workout, and creatine, all rigorously tested to ensure they're free from substances banned by major athletic organizations. And Just Ingredients has also partnered with two-time MVP Bryce Harper, who trusts their NSF-certified sports line to fuel his training and recovery. I can tell you this, I have just started to use the Just Ingredients pre-workout, and as well as their chocolate protein powder. Let's talk about the pre-workout first. So I work out every single day, and a day like today, I need some pre-workout. I'm going to need some extra energy going into my lift. And when I do, I put one scoop in there. They tell you the directions. It's simple to use. I stir it in. I drink it, and it also tastes really good, and it's good for you, and it doesn't make your heart race like those other products. I can tell you this, it is clean and transparent ingredients in their protein powder. As soon as I'm done, I put it in my blender. I put some water and some almond milk in there, and it tastes just like a great protein shake. So visit justingredients.us and use code LOCKEDONMLB for 20% off. And for more wellness tips, follow at just.ingredients on Instagram. Thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, our guy Bobby Blanco from MASNsports.com, basically a weekly guest on this show. He's a new father, by the way, so let him know at Bobby_Blanco over on Twitter. But he wrote a blog today, or an article rather, about this the Nationals outfield. And he was kind of just going on to say that the Nationals, they have a problem, and it's a good one. It's about just how deep this outfield is. That even stems down to the minor leagues. If you were to look at this outfield in the way that Davey Martinez had it constructed on opening day, and the outfield that we all expected to appear on opening day, you have Dylan Cruz in right, you have Jacob Young in center, and then you have James Wood in left. And you have Alex Call coming off the bench, and he was going to be your utility man every day who could play anywhere in the outfield. This outfield is in awesome hands at this point. Cruz seems to be in a better situation. He's had multiple two-hit games over the past few days here. Jacob Young went 2 for 3 on Tuesday after kind of being benched for a few games there in order to, not really bench, has a negative connotation on it, but Jacob Young needed a little bit of a fix in his swing, and it seems as if the Nationals have done their best to fix that at this moment. But I do think that there is a little bit of an issue here, and maybe not the best one. I don't know about you guys, but with where Jacob Young is today, I'm frustrated with him. I'm really frustrated with him. Well, again, Jacob Young, we have never really put expectations on him offensively. He is a great defender. Let's leave that there. A Gold Glove caliber defender, I might add. But with where Jacob Young is, the ceiling is very low. Like, you expect great defense, and he is going to bring that. But for someone who has his speed, the speed that is like up in the 90th percentile year after year, he has been caught stealing 3 times so far this year. One of them to end the game, and in yesterday's game, just an inexcusable mistake going up against a left-handed pitcher. They threw it over to first base, and they got him at second, which was a relatively routine out. Jacob Young on the base pass is now a frustrating watch. And if you remember last year, he got caught stealing all the time. This is now an issue for the Nationals. And also, let me just add, when you have someone like Alex Call, who is playing the way that he is at this point, it's a real easy excuse to keep Jacob Young on the bench at this point. And Alex Call, we're not like, this isn't new. Alex Call has put up some pretty decent numbers each of the past 2 years. Last year in 2024, he played in about 30 games, and his numbers were great. He is a pretty solid defender. He is a tick above average defender, whether you put him in right, center, or left. He is a solid base runner, even though he's been thrown out a couple times this year also. But with where we are today, you kind of have to value Alex Call at a little bit of a higher level than a Jacob Young at this point. And that's where I am at. That is my main issue here. And again, let's say this. It is a good issue to have. You feel good about where the outfield is, because we haven't even gotten to mention Robert Hassel III, who is off to a pretty good start down in AAA. You also have Andrew Pinckney, who is another guy who's going to be up in the bigs maybe sometime this season if a couple injuries happen. You have guys down in the minors who are number one talented and number two that could provide something for this Nationals team in a utility role. But with where we are today, I think we have to kind of recalibrate our expectations for this outfield going into this season. And it starts with Jacob Young. My frustrations with him are, let's be honest, he's not that great of a base runner right now. I don't know what it is, but when he tries to steal bases, his jump is simply not the best. It's just not. And maybe it's because pitchers and catchers, they know that he's going to run. They know the kind of speed he possesses, and they expect that from him. And maybe they're just kind of on their P's and Q's, and they want to throw it over to first more, and they want to check him and continue to check him. Maybe that's just what it is, which it probably is the case. But he's got to know this also. And the people in that clubhouse, they have to know this. The frustrations right now with Jacob Young, they're mounting for me. And his defense, while there was a time where I was like, you know what? If he's not that great offensively, that's fine, because he can play great defense in center field and is one of the most valuable defenders in all of baseball. But his sub-average offensive output is just not good enough for me. And when you have someone like Alex Call, who, again, as of right now, is an above-average major league hitter, he's an above-average defensive piece out there, and he can run the bases pretty well also, and is a smart, high IQ player who, by the way, also likes to draw a lot of walks at this point and doesn't strike out a lot. It's tough to take him out of the lineup. It just is. And so as of right now, I am starting to whisper. I'm not saying this overall. I'm not going to go all in on this yet, but Alex Cole simply might just be a better solution than Jacob Young. And going into the season, we all thought Alex Cole would be that fourth outfielder until someone comes up and takes that spot away from him. But I think we have to recalibrate that. I think Jacob Young should be in that fourth outfielder spot as of right now. And until Jacob Young proves it otherwise, I think that's the spot for him moving forward. Because having a valuable defender come off the bench, someone who is fast, someone who can put the ball in play, that is valuable. But Alex Call, offensively, defensively, and on the base pass, he brings more credibility to this offense and to this team right now. I'm an Alex Call guy. I just am. I watch him play. The way he plays, it's the right way to play. He hustles, and I know I sound like a dad right now on a little league team, but he hustles. It's refreshing to watch him play. He's laying out for balls. He is hitting the ball. He's putting the ball in play. He's working counts. As of right now, he is one of your most valuable pieces to this team today. And yes, that's not going to be the case down the road here. But as far as the outfielders, James Wood is your number one guy. And then you have Alex Call. That's the way that it's been in 2025. And we didn't expect this. But that's where he is. And that's where the production lies at this point. And let's talk about this also. With where Davey Martinez and Mike Rizzo, they've talked about it all spring long. They're ready to win. If you want to win, Alex Call gives you that better opportunity than Jacob Young at this point. So I think we need to recalibrate things because Davey Martinez has not taken him out of the lineup, and they have a day off. They're about to head down to Miami. We'll see what happens. But as of right now, I want Alex Call as an everyday starter over Jacob Young for now until things change. So thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And let's talk about this real quick. The look ahead for the Washington Nationals. I'll discuss that after we tell you about our friends over at FanDuel. And the NBA playoffs are almost here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. And I love how FanDuel makes betting so easy, whether it's picking my favorite team or diving into player props. For instance, with the Washington Wizards right now, they got the loss yesterday, which is what you want because, again, this Wizards team, they are tanking for Cooper Flag. So I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to bet on Corey Kispert over on 3 categories. And also, it's going to be a pool party here soon for the Wizards. Jordan Poole over in the 3s. I want a pool party here in DC. You can get that with our friends at FanDuel because they make it a lot more fun. Then after the game tips off, also, you can even combine live prop bets into a same game parlay for a chance to win big. So don't miss out and head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. Thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. So as we said, this is a big stretch for the Nationals because the schedule is going to get hard. You just took 2 of 3 against the Dodgers, which on Monday's show, I talked about how it's a huge stretch for the Nats over these next few weeks here, all the way into May. But they took 2 of 3 against the Dodgers, the best team in all of baseball. So you're off to a good start. You now have 3 games in Miami. Last year, you dominated the Marlins. I expect the same this year. You are the better team. I expect you to win and take 2 of 3 against the Marlins. Then you have 4 games up in Pittsburgh. That's a series that I'm like, oh no, this could go either way. They're a young, scrappy team, but fortunately for the Nats, all eyes are on their ownership group because I don't know if people have been really wondering or keeping an eye on Major League Baseball as a whole. But Pirates fans are livid with Pittsburgh's owners. They took down the Roberto Clemente little plaque out there in right field, the right field corner there, and they replaced it with a Surfside ad. The Pirates fans were not happy about that, and Roberto Clemente's family was also not happy about that. So they're not that great of an ownership group to begin with, but now Pirates fans are done. That was like their last straw with them. There are sell the team chants going out every single day against this team and whoever they play. Pirates fans are not happy. So there's some distractions there in Pittsburgh. Hopefully you take a few of them. Then you go to Colorado, which I feel like I haven't gotten to look at this point because we're still a few weeks away or a few days away. But we've also been pretty good against the Colorado Rockies overall. You've got 3 games going up against them. Again, I expect to win. Simple as that. Then you are off Monday in the following week, and then you have the tough schedule. 3 games against Baltimore, 4 games against the Mets, who, by the way, Juan Soto, He's not struggling, but for his standards, he is at this point. Only one home run through the first, almost 2 weeks of the season. Then you have 3 games at Philly, 3 games at Cincy, 3 games against the Guardians. This is a tough stretch for the Nationals, but if they play like they did against the Dodgers, they've got a chance against anyone. And I think they proved that over the past few days. So thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day. So we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Enjoy the day off. Go Nats.